Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in to Making It with Dee. I'm Dee, and in today's video I will be giving you an update of all things April. I am late, I know. April has been super busy. Also, having said that, my favorite month of the year because it's my birthday month. Yay! So I celebrated a birthday in April, and I set myself some goals for what I'd like to accomplish for my birthday. Half successful, half not so successful. But that's what this episode is going to be all about. So tune in, get comfortable, and let's talk knitting. No, I lie. Let's talk crafting. So what I'm wearing today is my shadow short sleeve top that I knit using a cotton nylon blend, which is yarn I purchased from Spotlight, which is the same place where I purchased my book. You can see the Spotlight name there. So this book has got quite a number of patterns in here, 38 yarn projects. And so this is the tea that I made. Excuse the spill. I spilled coffee on the plane. So apologies for that. So as you can see, it's knit. The actual recommended yarn for this is called Moda Vera Shadow, and it is a self-striping yarn, so that's why you can see the stripes on the thing. I did not use that yarn, as you can tell, so I don't have any stripes. But so essentially you knit the back and the front, same, separate. You start bottom up, so you do the back and you do the front, and then you do some short rows shaping for underarms, and then you leave that aside and you cast on for the sleeves, and you do the two sleeves separately. I always do that on one needle, but in any case, do the two sleeves separately, and then you do raglan shaping for the sleeves, and then you add all four pieces together in a circular needle, and you start knitting up the yoke in this kind of lace pattern, which I know that cotton kind of stretches and it's kind of big right now. I purchased some of that elastic to just put in here. I haven't done it yet, I haven't placed it yet, but I will do. But yeah, it's supposed to be summer tea. I wore it maybe twice in the summer and it's already autumn where I am, so weather's cold, and it's a transition piece now, so I can wear it over the top of things, which works perfectly for me, so I'm not too sad about that. Today's weather was pretty cold, beautiful blue skies, 3 degrees Celsius in the morning, and the high was 15, which didn't feel like 15, it felt a little bit less, like more like 10 in any case. So that's our weather update. Right, so this is what I'm wearing. Let's move into some finished objects. As I said before, April was filled with excitement, filled with inspiration, and I don't have enough hands to do everything. All the things I wanted to do, I just didn't get it all done. But I do have some exciting things that I did manage to finish and that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. Starting off with my friend to friend shrug. Now this pattern was designed by Leslie Friend, who is also here on YouTube, known as Friend to Knit With, and I just loved the idea of this shrug because it was so, to me, it was a perfect transition piece between seasons. So for the cooler evenings of summer and then into the more cooler weathers, days in autumn and winter. So it's a very straightforward pattern, very simple to do. I kind of try to knit it with my sisters My one sister in South Africa managed to finish hers. She did hers in a bright red, which is beautiful. And I'll pop a picture of her in it, for you to see as well. And then my other sister, who's in Australia, didn't quite got started, messed up, and then restarted. So she's planning to do hers in block colors. So she's doing cream and black. And the yarn I used for this project was the recommended yarn, which I felt so fortunate I could find it here. It's the You and Me by Two of Wands. This is the little card I've got here from the yarn, and it is a acrylic wool blend. It's got 80% acrylic and 20% wool. And I really like this yarn because it feels nice and fluffy. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels fluffy. It's not thick and heavy, so which makes it even more perfect for a transition piece. So you're not gonna get like so hot in it when you walk into a heated place. So my shrug. The pattern is very kind of straightforward. This is the shape of it, and I'll insert pictures of me in it. So I did mine in black because I had planned to do embroidery on it. The original picture that Leslie got sent by a friend who suggested that she did develop a pattern for it is one with it's a grey coloured shrug that looks like this. It doesn't have this high neck, it's kind of round neck, but it had this beautiful embroidery on it, and that's my thing. That's like my jam, embroidery on knitting. I love that. So I thought I could customize it so beautifully on black yarn. So I did. I did this dandelion with like heart points blowing in the wind. Oh, I just love it. I love it so much. I get compliments for this thing all the time. I wore it today, this morning to church, just threw it over my dress. It's just, I mean, so I will insert a clip of how I not only blocked it, but the embroidery was the easiest part. Like, I had anticipated what I wanted to put on here in the first place. So I went on Pinterest and looked for this dandelion picture, line drawing that I could copy onto tracing paper. I just traced it over my computer screen because it's already backlit, so that's perfect. Just traced it onto a piece of paper, and then I bought this dissolving stabilizer, embroidery stabilizer. I didn't know what it was called then. I just went to Spotlight and I said to the lady, I'm looking for, you know, and she brought it out for me. It comes out on a roll, and then they cut you a meter. It was very expensive. It was $10 a meter, so I bought a meter of it. I bought half a meter because I didn't want to spend too much money, and so I just copied or traced my picture, my line drawing onto that, and pinned it onto the front of the jump or the shrug, and then started my embroidery. And then so satisfying to watch when you put it in the water, how it just dissolves, and this beautiful, it's quite magical. I have to say, it was quite a magical moment. I'll place the video, a little clip there for you to see. I have regrets about having knitted it with this yarn, because after I did some research I found out that it's prone to pulling, this yarn. I haven't worn this jumper yet. I've blocked it the other day. It smells delicious. Okay, so we've got Big Birdie, which is 79% baby alpaca, 21% silk. It is the yarn that is recommended for this, and size 5 US 9, which is 5.5 millimeters needles, and also 4.5 millimeter needles. I used the right size because to my calculations it looked like this yarn was the same weight as the Big Birdie. So it's definitely not alpaca, definitely not silk. But I can tell you I am pleased with the results. So you see that little sheen on there, it's just gorgeous. Construction wise, this is top down. It's my first ever top down that I've ever knitted, I think. Raglan and German short rows. That's definitely my first time I've ever done German short rows. And so after I finished the collar, which was another thing I had to do a provisional cast on. Everything about this pattern was new to me, and I found it very challenging, very confronting at first, and I thought, oh, can I do it? Can I do it? It's a free pattern. I'd really love to do it, and I've got the perfect yarn for it. I had no idea that how this would stripe, but I did see that the orange was like at the top, this rusty gold. It's different shades of gold, which I think is quite nice. I wasn't sure if the color scheme was kind of right for me. It doesn't generally, I like the orange tones. I didn't want the brown so close up to my face, but that's okay. It's not, which is why I made it this. I used the skein that had this color on top to start with, and so it all just gets knitted in the round all the way down. Did my sleeves, raglan sleeves, decreases, and I think I knitted the ribbing slightly longer than the pattern required. I wanted the sleeves to be slightly longer than the pattern, and I also did a longer end, a longer bottom, because I didn't want it to be cropped as it is in the pattern. It looks a little bit cropped in the pattern. I think I did maybe 3 inches more knitting on it, and I think it's going to be a nice and warm addition to my wardrobe. I feel like it will go really nicely with anything, like even denim, and a lot of my skirts. I could even wear it over a dress if I wanted to. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I will insert a clip of me styling it so that you can see. I apologize, I've been wearing my glasses the whole time, and there must have been some glare from the light. I am sorry about that. So yeah, the fancy, and I was really happy with all the learning that I did from knitting this jumper. So provisional cast on is no longer a threat to me when I see it in a pattern. The German short rows, I mean, I've done short rows with this one, but it wasn't a German short rows, it was the wrap and turn, and that I found interesting. The German short rows appeal a lot more to me than the wrap and turn short rows. And then the raglan decreases here with the sleeves, and I just love the idea that I could finish it all in kind of one go. And I have to say, the 5.5 millimeter knitting needles did make it go quite fast. Once I was on a roll, I was kind of on a roll, and we just flew. So this was an April make, and I love it. Absolutely love it. I will move on to my final finished project for this video that I'll be sharing with you today. And it's a very exciting one. Oh my gosh, I can hardly contain my excitement. Let me show you. It's a crochet project, so it's knitting is done. Now let's move on to my crochet. OMG. Here she is. In all her glory. My Julie doll. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? I mean, I think she's gorgeous. I'm so happy with her. I am thrilled with her, in fact. I don't want to give her away. I want to keep her for myself. This was definitely the most fun I've had with crochet since I started. I mean, this girl took all the skills that I needed to learn, all my crochet skills. Okay, so let's start off with the body. So obviously you do the head first, and then you do the body, and then you do the legs and the arms separate. And that kind of was okay. In fact, you know what yarn I used? I actually used the same yarn leftovers that I had from this cotton nylon tee that I made. I used that for her body. The beautiful thing about making a doll is that you can use scrap yarns, and so I have got heaps of little balls of acrylic that I am trying to work my way through. So I see some more of these dolls in my future. I love them so much. So this doll was a project that I decided to make for my great niece. My late sister's daughter had a baby girl, and she's 1, so she turned 1 in February, no, March, 2nd of March. And so I know I'm late to the party, but they live in South Africa, and I had planned then to make something really special that she can grow up with, and it'll be hers, you know. So I found this pattern on Ravelry. There's so many beautiful, beautiful doll designs, and I opted for this one because it seemed like a cool thing to make. The others are amazing as well, but I kind of thought for my skill level, let's just try something straightforward-ish. So yeah, so you do the body, all the parts, and then you do the hair. So the hair is like you crochet like a skull cap, and then you just weave the hair through the stitches. And I chose the black hair wool, just used black wool. And I mean, the pattern is very good at explaining to you how to do things, and there's some pictures and there's some videos as well included if you don't know how to do certain stitches. And of course there's also YouTube. Like, I have used YouTube for almost everything. I just love the little details. I mean, the scarf, look at this pattern. I mean, it's like a shell kind of deal going there. It's just, I mean, and the little petticoat, the frills at the bottom, you do with picot stitching. So the petticoat is under there, and it comes to the waist. And then there's the dress, which is a separate. I'm not going to undress her because I just love her dressed. But anyway, that's the dress on the underside that you can see there. And I chose to do the buttons down the back. So not buttons, the, what do you call these things? I forget what they're called. You know, the press clippy thingies. Anyway, there is one button, fun fancy button, that I chose to put only on the top here because I thought no one's going to see these buttons, and it's a very special button I bought at a store. It's a little bee, and so I thought I'll just put that on there at the back. And the jacket also has these funny, it's really cool buttons on them. that I bought at the same, it came in the same pack as the bee buttons, and so I just stitched them on here. So obviously I modified to my taste, what I thought. Color wise, all the clothing is different colors on the actual original pattern. The shoes, look at the shoes, aren't they just gorgeous? And there's one sock that looks like it's coming down, you know, it's falling down. So the shoes are just, I mean, everything is just beautiful. This dog is bringing me her toys to play with. Like, Beatrix, I am busy, darling. Go play with Daddy. No, go play with Daddy. Okay? She's not happy. Okay, she's looking at my doll. So, I love everything about this doll. The little bag even as well. So she's got a little bag that you can actually put something in if you wanted to. The jacket has little fake pockets. It's just the little, I know what they're called and I can't remember the name. Just a little flap pocket there. And then of course the beanie is separate as well, and the little pom-pom that comes with the beanie. And of course I bought the eyes ages ago when I was making amigurumi things, crocheting a few things. And so this girl, her name's Julie, and I bought little, it says to use like a beeswax rouge on her cheeks. I don't know what that is. I just used lipstick that I had to buy because I don't wear lipstick. So I went to the $2 store and got some cheap lipstick and just put it on her cheeks like that. And that's my Julie girl, and that is my final finished project for April. So yeah, I am absolutely thrilled with her. My sister showed a picture that I sent her to one of my other great nieces, and she sent me a little voice message saying, "Auntie, I love it, I want one." So now I have to make her one too. My sister got her to choose which one she liked off the list of dolls. No. She's eating my gloves that I've started knitting. Naughty girl. No, Beatrix. You're such a naughty girl. So yeah, I am excited to make another one, a different girl with a different outfit. I mean, the body will be the same, the hair will be different, and everything else will be different. But the construction will be exactly the same. So I am going to be building on my collection of dolls until I get really good at it, and I might, you know, I'm just enjoying it at the moment. So this one's due for South Africa. That's my final finished object for April. We're still in April now. Oh, I'm sorry, the dog just shook the camera stand. I am receiving a phone call from my son. I'll just pause. Hello, my darling. Okay, so we've talked about my knit finished objects, and we've talked about my crochet, which was the other finished object. And I think that's all my finished objects. Now let's move on to whips, but I want to talk about this particular whip as my sewing whip, which was meant to have been completed for my birthday. Disappointingly, I didn't manage to finish. This is the pattern that I was working with. I hope it's focused. And I was making this dress here. Pattern, I think it was the A1, yes, the A1. And I don't know if you can recall from my last video, I talked about how that I was going to make a dress and the shrug for my birthday, because I had received some material. My sister sent me some material with someone who was traveling from South Africa. So I sewed the dress up quite beautifully, I have to say. So I did a pretty good job of doing everything to the pattern, but I only had 2 meters of fabric, and for my size I required 3 meters. I lie, I had 2.5 meters of fabric and I needed 3 meters. No, I needed 3 meters, and I didn't have 3 meters, and so I tried to make it work with this material, and I mean, I managed, except it's too small. It's a tight fit. It's pretty tight. If I'm bold enough, I might share a picture of me in the dress. So I had stretched like as far as I possibly could before. I didn't even put put buttonholes here. This is a button band. I didn't put the buttonholes here yet, because what I did was, before I joined the top to the bottom, I made sure that I had, like, I was on like the last centimeter that I could get to make this big enough to accommodate the girls. But honestly, and it worked, like the top bit worked, and I did some modification here obviously to make that work. So there's a little tiny flap there, but I mean, I could just do like those press studs instead of actually putting buttons here. The other modification I did was there's supposed to be a zipper on the side, and my love for zippers prevailed, and I did not. I chose to not add a zipper because I could fit into the dress quite comfortably with just having this opening here. And the pockets I modified. I didn't actually, well, yeah, I did modify, I lie. So this pocket was supposed to be on the inside. So the flap's supposed to be on the outside, like that. I made those flaps, right? But then this pocket was supposed to be on the inside, and I was supposed to cut through here there and put the... I wasn't going to do any of that. No, I did not do that. I decided I didn't want the pocket on the inside. Like, I wanted the pocket to be on the outside. So I stitched the pocket down on the outside. Both of them. And I think, like, because this is cut on a bias, the skirt part is cut on a bias, it makes for an interesting kind of, you know, pattern with the top of it being like down. Vertical, and then the bottom part's on a bias, which makes it then all kind of go that way, which I think is interesting. And so the only part that I'm not so happy about is that she didn't fit. I mean, I kind of did as much as I could. I'm at like the seam allowance, I have gone down to the millimeter almost to make the seam allowance as skinny as possible so that I could actually fit. It just didn't work. So, I mean, I think the workmanship on this dress was... I did even the binding on this, on the sleeves, even looks good. Like, I did a pretty good job. And so now all I have to do is make myself fit in the dress. Do you think I can accomplish that? I don't know. At my age, I just gained another year in April, and it just gets trickier and trickier to lose weight. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep this here. I don't like to give my things, my me-made things away, because I don't think it's that good that someone else will want to wear it. And that's the only embarrassment really. Otherwise, I'll just have to give it to Goodwill and hope that somebody likes it. If by we're going into the winter months, man, it's getting cold. We eat more and we put on a little bit of layer of insulation. So I don't see myself fitting into that dress this winter. I might hang on to it until summer. Maybe. I might hang on to it until summer. See if I can make myself fit in it. How's that? Okay. That is my sewing whip. Let's call it a whip, okay? Now I will go on to my other whips, my knitting whips. I have got my pressed flowers shawl that I have made some progress on. Not finished, made some progress on. Made quite a bit of progress on, so I'll just show you what I've done so far. I think I am down to one more repeat and then the border. Isn't it beautiful? Like, I think it's pretty cool. I love the colors. I think it's pretty cool. And I'm quite chuffed with myself that I have managed to do this. I managed to pull it off, and I've actually now gotten to a point where I never knew I would ever be able to say such a thing, is that I have gotten myself to the point where I don't have to constantly keep my eyes on the chart. Imagine that. I'm such a novice at this, but I can now knit this thing without having to actually look at the chart. And the other cool thing I taught myself while I was knitting one of my other stockinette cardies, the navy one from my previous video. If you want to catch that video, you can have a look at it, from my March update, is that I have taught myself some continental knitting style now. So I can do it as long as it's all knit stitches. And so on the right side of this, I do all the knit stitches, and I do the whole entire row continental style. And then when it comes to the purling side of things, I switch to the other style, and I throw. But I found that it's quite nice to, it goes so fast when you're doing it that way. Which also helped me do my fancy a lot faster, because I was knitting continental. Because in the round you just knit, and so that was perfect. So yeah, this is my other whip. I am using size, the recommended size. I think it's 4mm. I can't see, I'm blind. Sorry, I think it's 4mm. It's the recommended size in any case for this. And the yarn that I'm using is some sort of fiber that I don't know what it is. It's very rustic feeling. It's got lots of little fibers coming off of it. And I got gifted, not gifted, I earned this yarn through a project that I had done for a school that I worked in. So I don't know if you can see any of the things here. Any of the things, there's always fibers hanging down or falling on my lap when I'm busy working with this, and it's quite rough to touch. Thankfully this is an outer garment, like it's gonna just be over the top of my clothing. So it's been my project that I take with me on the plane when I fly, which is something that I do regularly for work. Only like for 2-hour flights, it's not forever. This has been my knitting project, and I always get comments by somebody, usually the flight staff, but everybody, sometimes even the passengers who sit next to me see me knit always comment, and then I'll be wearing something that I've knitted as well, and they were like, oh, I was going to ask you if you knitted that, but I can tell now you did. So yeah. So that's interesting. So that's my one whip, and I have allowed myself, because I had finished the fancy and I finished my crochet project, I allowed myself to cast on something new, because my son asked me to knit him some gloves. I thought, okay, I've knitted a pair of gloves before, but it was way too big for my husband. But I kind of, the shape of it, I kind of got, and so now I'm following a YouTube tutorial, how to knit gloves, and I just basically started. I cast on, sorry, the dog's been chewing on this for the, did she? Oh, yuck, no, okay. So I'm just using a navy acrylic yarn, and this is a 8 ply, and so I've just done the cuff so far. And so I thought to myself, if I've, you know, this is going to be a plain glove, and I've always wanted to, I wanted to incorporate color work in my next few projects, knitting projects, because I want to get better at doing that. So I thought, I wonder if I could incorporate in this very plain, straightforward pattern that this YouTuber that I'm following, this YouTube tutorial, if I can incorporate like a color work, something on it, just on the outside of the glove, just here. And so I went to Pinterest and had a look at some of the pictures, looking for just a grid, a chart that'll fit the stitch count that I'm working with, that it's, you know, that's appropriate for a boy. I asked my son which one of what he'd like, and he chose a penguin. But the penguin, the one that he chose, is not something that I can do. I can't fit it into, I don't know how to work the chart to scale it down. So I found another free grid chart on Ravelry, and so I'm going to maybe do this penguin, or I found something else on Pinterest as well that is a dog face, and I'll insert a picture there. I'm gonna try and do some sort of color work on the back of the hand of this glove, just to give myself some practice with color work, but also just to make it interesting. I mean, I don't want to just do a boring navy glove when I can customize it, because I can. I might be able to. I can is very strong. I can. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna try and see if I get it right. Okay. So that's my second whip that I've got going at the moment. And then I was inspired by a monthly free pattern from Sandner's Garn that I got off of Mother Knitter, some website in the States, I believe. There were a whole bunch of these free Sandner's Garn patterns, and this one is called the Flower Cardigan. And I'll show a picture of it here. I don't know if the yarn I have is going to work for it. It only goes up to size 2XL, but the measurements, my measurements fit into there, so that's okay. I might even try and use a bigger needle to get a bigger size. I think that's one way that I'm going to perhaps modify it so that it'll fit me more comfortably. The cardigan doesn't look like it has a lot of positive ease, so it's not a big, bulky, you know, like loose fitting cardi. It's quite a nice, neat, tidy fit, and I like the look of that. And as you can see in the picture, it's got cream and like a yellow flower. And so I have this yarn. This is also from a mill end bag that I bought at Spotlight. I just love the color. And this is from a farm around the corner from me that I went to buy a kilo of yarn. He charged me $80 for a kilogram of this Romney wool. So this is pure wool from the Romney sheep. And It's been spun, of course. I just don't know what weight this is, what thickness this is. I don't know how many, I bought a kilo, but I don't know how many yards is in there. I think it'll be enough for the cardi. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not sure if the two thicknesses match. It looks like they do. Like, I don't know, in our yarns never get sold in terms of weight. We don't know what's, it doesn't come out as fingering or lace weight, or I know this is not a lace weight. This is not fingering either. I think it's slightly sport or perhaps DK. I don't know if it's DK. It's not as thick as DK, I don't think. I don't know. Okay, the answer is I don't know, but they look equally thick, and so I'm going to try and do this color work cardi using these two. I have enough yarn to do it with, and so I'm going to give it a try, but I'm going to do a swatch first. It's going to be my first swatch for color work, my first color work swatch. I've done a swatch once before for a vest of my husband's. It's one of those forever whips. It's just going to be hanging there until I decide to finish it up. So there's that's my plan, to do the flower cardigan, the Sanders Garn pattern. And then I discovered on one of the, who was it, Woolly Worker, no, I lie, I discovered this lento. I heard about this lento sweater that lento pullover that everyone's been knitting, and there was a make along, I believe. I don't know how many years ago this was, right? So just forgive me, I'm very late to the party, very late to the lento party. The beauty of this lento, I believe, is that you only need 2 skeins of 100 gram fingering weight yarn. And so I went on a day trip with my family, don't know how long ago, potentially January this year, and I purchased from a knitting shop, a wool shop, I purchased 2 skeins of hand-dyed yarn. This was the most expensive yarn I had ever bought, and I was treasuring this yarn because I thought, what can I do with 2 skeins? Like, I don't want to do socks. Like, I'm not a sock girl. I don't knit socks. I haven't yet knitted any socks. I don't think I'm gonna get into sock knitting. Famous last words, right? I don't know, we'll just see. But so let me show you this yarn that I got. So, I mean, I love the colors. It is just beautiful. Look at that. It's got the purples, it's got the yellows, it's got the orange, it's got some pink, it's got some hints of pink in it. And I'll tell you what it is. Hand painted sock yarn, 75% merino, 25% nylon. So 4-ply, is 4-ply fingering? I think so. And so there's a lot of yarn in here because it does say 100 grams, but it says 400 meters. And I found out that the lento for my size, I've got enough because I've got 2 skeins. 2 skeins of the same. Look at that. So 2 skeins, pretty similarly actually. I think this one's got more speckles. This one's got more speckles than this one. I know it's hand dyed, so you hand painted, so you won't even get the same thing, but we'll see how we go, right? Like, I am planning to also do a swatch with this just to see what the colors play out like and what they look like, because I might be tempted to add in like a color that'll blend it all together. And I did bring something in with me here because I went moving on into acquisitions. I found a cone of this. I caked some of it. I caked about 50 grams of it. This wool is Angora, 40% Angora wool. Look at the beautiful color. It's such a beautiful baby pink. Ah, the light is doing a blowout job of it, but maybe if we do it from this point here, you can see. And so because there's some slight pink in here, I was wondering if I should not, maybe I can do, because this is a lace weight, right? This is really, really skinny lace weight. I might do 2 strands of lace weight. I've got a lot of this yarn on a cone. Seems to be my luck when I go to the op shops, or thrift shops as you guys call it, thrift stores. I end up finding wool on cones. Like, I don't even know why, but yeah, because I do have 2 cones, 2 big fat cones of cashmere. Beautiful. So that might end up being a dress. I don't know, who knows where that's gonna go, but for now I'm talking maybe to try and avoid, I don't know, color pooling, maybe just to bring some uniformity to the 2 different skeins by adding in a pink, which is in both skeins in any case. By adding in a pink, I might just do that. So I'm going to swatch up just the pure this, and then I'm going to add two strands of this with that and see what the difference is, whether that's where I want to go with my lento. I'm not in a big hurry to do the lento because it's gonna be, I mean, I'm excited to do it, like I'm chomping at the bit to do it, but we're going into winter. Like, this is more like a summer thing, and by the sounds of it, the lento takes, you use a size 5.5 millimeter knitting needle, so it's going to be airy. It's not going to be your thick, warm winter knit, so it might have to go in the back burner. I don't know how long I can keep it there. Maybe I'll pull it out. I'll do the swatches, maybe that'll satisfy. I'll do the swatches and then I'll see how I feel about. But for now, I think my shawl is going to be priority, and my flower cardigan on top of the gloves that I'm knitting for my son. My son's birthday is on the 22nd of May. I think I can have it done by then. Famous last words. Now, I think I have covered just about everything I'd like to cover on this video. If you're still here, thank you so much for spending this time with me, and do come back. I'm thinking probably monthly updates, because it's taking me a long time to finish projects, and because, you know, life and a full-time job. So this is my hobby and I enjoy it, and I want to keep enjoying it, so I'm not pressuring myself to produce for video content. So if you like this sort of content, please do come back and hang out with me. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, go ahead and have a look at those, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, it would be so great. I would be so happy if you did. So subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment down below what you thought of my makes and any suggestions you might have for the wools that I've shown you. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.